in the studio we have Professor Dr. Moniwe Kesa, formerly Chair National Task Force on Anti-Doping, and he's also an advocate and is the consultant Anti-Doping Agency of Kenya. I should start with you straight away, Professor. Is there a real threat? The country is really worried. There's anxiety whether we'll participate in the Rio Olympics or not because of the doping allegations leveled against Kenyan athletes.
Yeah, thank you, Robin. The fact of the threat is real. The thing is, doping is a global problem, and the whole world is concerned about having clean sport. We want to see people winning clean, not because they have manipulated their bodies through some pharmacies or some pharmacological agents. And therefore, the threat of a ban is real, and as one of the people who was featured earlier put it, we need to be seen to be doing something.
Frederick Nadule, you've played for Mathare United, Harambee Stars. Is a team sport, and you are well versed with the terrain here. Is it a serious threat to our Olympic dreams?
Thank you, Robin. Actually, it is, and I'm actually not surprised with Lord Sebastian Coe's threat to Kenya. What I'm concerned about is the mere fact of Kenya losing an important event as the Olympics. Really, this is a sport that Kenya identifies with. And to me, to Kenyans, to the whole world, Kenya missing an important event like the Rio Olympics would be really a stale event, if you ask me.
Collins, Kenya has produced some of the greatest Olympians. Dr. Kipchoge Keino is now the NOC chairman. We've produced people like Amos Biwott, Serafina Antao. They've represented this country in the past, and coming to this point in time in our history, do you think this is really a tragic event that someone is alleging that our athletes are using drugs?
Thank you very much, Toskin. By the way, it's a sad moment because Kenya right now is in the spotlight in a very bad way. If you look at the glory some of people like Kipchoge brought to this country, suddenly everything is tarnished in just the bubble burst. I think it's a big issue that needs to be addressed very fast. And as you heard Wilson Kipsang saying, ADAC should now, the formality should be done and they should commence their work immediately, because we have to show ADAC that indeed the country is out to stop this vice, if it at all it's happening, and then the culprits brought to book, or else it will be a very bad dream for us, and missing Olympics, it's unheard of. This is what glorifies our name across the world and even in Africa.
Professor, in my hands I have the draft bill, and this must be desperate times because such a confidential document would not be out at this point in time. And what exactly is it talking about, sir?
Yeah, now, the draft bill is not a confidential document. If you go back to the Constitution allows for public participation in lawmaking. And so what's happening is that the bill is already out in the public domain. Stakeholders have had a bite at it. There was a meeting in Kasarani about 2 weeks ago. And there is yet another one coming up this week on Wednesday. So the document is out there for public discussion. Now, what is the document about? The main aim of the bill is actually twofold. Number one, to ensure that we have a drug-free sport. People are doing their sport in a clean way. And then number two, to protect the health of the athletes. If I say something very quickly on number one, the thing is, every time we see a person winning, whether it's in football, rugby, or track and field, we want to see the effort of the individual, the natural talent coming to the fore, and not be winners because they have taken this and the other drug. And that, in a way, is levelizing the competition, so that whether somebody from Russia wins or from Guatemala, we know that it's individual effort that is at play. And this is a global concern, and this is why now the bill comes in to say, yes, we want to see that also here in Kenya. On protection of the health of the athletes, let me also very quickly say that the drugs that are used to enhance performance are normal medicines used for treating various ailments. The difference being that athletes or sports persons use this in much higher quantities in order to enhance performance. If we take a drug like erythropoietin, which many long-distance runners like using, this is a drug that helps to stimulate the production of red blood cells in the body so that as they run, they don't feel tired, they don't run out of breath, and that way, you know, it will be like they're just running on and on and on as if they are not normal bodies at all. But then erythropoietin is a very serious drug. It's a prescription-only drug used for treating cases of anemia and mainly used for dialysis patients. And so now, if you think about treating a kidney disease, and an athlete taking it to use it, you can see that it's actually a misuse of the drug. The other one that is most commonly abused in sport is that of what we call anabolic steroids, or the ones that are used for building the body so that we see very bulky muscles and so on. In terms of protecting the health, let me just quickly say here also that these anabolic steroids have a bad effect on the reproductive aspects of the persons using them. In ladies using those steroids will never be called mommy in their lives because then the reproductive system is interfered with. For the men, they will be seen on the wherever they are with bulky muscles, but then their penis cannot erect. They cannot have sex at all with the ladies, and therefore we are actually endangering the genealogy, the reproductive line of our sports persons when we do not condone the use of drugs in sport.
Professor, that sounds really serious because you are bringing in now the health of an athlete or just anybody, that the life after using all those drugs is such a miserable thing.
It is not even a matter of the life after, it's actually the life during, because using some drugs like anabolic steroids for 3 years continuously, one exposes the body to the early onset of certain cancers, and then also I've touched on the reproductive aspects, and more clearly this can be seen especially like in ladies when the voices change from soprano to bass, and then beards start sprouting on the chins, and the breasts shrink. I mean, these are things that would be happening, and in the long run, their lifespan is actually shortened. Most of those who abuse these drugs don't go beyond age 40.
Duli, that's a dire situation we is talking about, and you had Wilson Kipsang talking about a slow pace by the government and the respective ministries. How much should we now worry about all this that Professor is talking about?
Well, it is a cause for concern what the professor is saying, but what impresses me is that there's already an agency that has been set up to act as a checks and balances for this vice.
Sure.
But what I'm also happy about are the consequences of those caught implicated using these drugs, because what it says is one, prison terms of not less than 3 years, and hefty fines of at least $10,000 US, which translates to 10 million shillings or so.
Thereabouts, yeah.
Thereabouts. So that should act as a deterrent to those who want to use drugs to gain advantage over others. And it's also not about athletics only. Also, other sports are now coming into the picture. We saw what happened to David Munyasia in Beijing.
The boxer.
He was sent back home from the Olympic Village even before throwing a punch. And my own former teammate, Philip Opio, when he had just started his professional career in South Africa,
yeah, I remember
he failed a drug test at Free State Stars, so he had to come back. That was a young career that was cut short.
Collins, the anti-doping agency of Kenya will cut across all the sports, and you've been covering football and also athletics. How widespread is it in football, and does it warrant, the invitation of Professor and his agency to come in?
Yeah, basically in football, there's been a perception that the issues of doping are only, only athletes are concerned with this. But with the formation of ADAC, I think things are going to be different, because we know in the fields, of play, there are players who use substances like bang, some use things like cat, just for performance enhancing. To some of them, it might look as an easy thing, but going forward, it will be a tough, choice for any player to make. And then you look at it in a different way, that the coming in of ADAC has also it's going to put a lot of pressure on some practitioners.
Yes.
Look at the gyms. Look at the doctors, nurses.